Billy, I mean, it would have been great to see Billy as a left-handed pitcher face Bud, maybe in like a spring game or something like that. So Billy was almost a baseball player and almost a Baylor Bear. I don't know how history would even be the same if one of those two things happened.
Well, since you mentioned that, give you a little bit of my background. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri by birth. Big Cardinals fan. Any Cardinal fans in the house? Bob Gibson, Leonard Cepeda, Kirk Flood, Lou Brock. I wore number 20 because of Lou Brock. And I was raised by my grandparents in East Texas, a little old town called Hooks, Texas. It's right outside of Texarkana. And I really was more of a baseball guy. And my love was baseball and pitching. I was a left-handed pitcher, which I'm still wishing I should have stayed with baseball instead of football. But that's another story. And I was raised by my grandparents. So in about the ninth grade, I moved to stay with my grandparents. And I didn't start really playing football until the 10th grade because I thought that was one of the craziest sports. Why would somebody want to run with the ball and get the shit beat out of it? But it went on to another thing, and plus we was real terrible at that time. If you never heard of Hooks, it's not too far from Ida Bell, Oklahoma, right, on the Oklahoma side. And I swear that my two cousins who used to play football on Friday nights was getting killed every Friday night. But they stayed with it for a little while, then they got hurt. And well, the coach told me that you got to come out and help us out because there's nobody else. Well, we was worse than the Bad News Bears at that time. So out of pure fear, I became a running back because I was scared of getting hurt. And one thing led to another. We got better and everything, and came to college time. I was actually really going to Baylor at that time, Phil. I think Baylor in 73, 74 had upset Texas for the Southwest Conference at that time. And I went to several schools to see what they was talking about. And it came down to Baylor because my grandmother fell in love with Coach Taft because they was Baptist and we was Baptist. So I was just going because of the Baptist and all that. And it came to me going to Oklahoma. I wasn't even coming up to Oklahoma. I was going to Baylor because of my grandmother fell in love with Coach Taft. Well, when it came around to coming to Oklahoma, I did make the trip. And when I came up and saw Coach Switzer, they had just won the national championship in 74. And I said, well, Coach, you sure got a lot of Texas players on your team? He said, oh, yeah, we recruit real heavy in Texas. We do it all the time. So I had, actually, my good friend Joe Washington was showing me around that weekend when I came up here. Joe, could you give me my $20 you still owe from that time? It's been saying that for 40-some years and in the mail. But anyway, had a great visit with Joe. But I was telling Coach Switzer I had a great time, but I think I'm still going to Baylor, really because of my grandma. And I didn't know what this Sooner Magic was all about when I got up here, because everybody was saying that there was OU fans. So Coach said, well, you know what? I understand it. Now he's going to put this Sooner Magic on me. But as a kid with my big old afro, anybody remember my afro back in the day? It came in handy because I never did get a concussion. But anyway, He said, before you go back home, Billy, I want you to meet my family. I said, okay, coach, no problem there. So we go by his house, and all his kids run out there to meet him. They all wearing number 20. I couldn't believe it. He said, oh yeah, they already selling your jerseys up here. I'm thinking I'm gonna have the only number 20 shirts. And but the following weekend, OU was going to Colorado to play them, so I went back home to Hooks, and I could out there pumping gas the old-fashioned way, check the oil, airs, wipe the window off. They don't do that nowadays like they used to. And all of a sudden, the payphone rang. Y'all remember the payphone, right? And one of my coworkers said, hey, Billy, Coach Switzer want to talk to you. I said, Coach Switzer? I could hear him on the radio because, we wasn't that far from Oklahoma. So I said, okay, I go in, and it was halftime. I said, Coach, I know you're in Colorado. He said, well, I thought I'd call you because we kicking them pretty good. That ain't what he really said, but he said, Joe Washington's tearing them up. I didn't have anything to say to them, so I was thinking about you. Who does that? We talked the whole entire halftime. I can hear the referee tell Coach Switzer, Coach, you got to get back on the field. They're getting ready to kick off. He said, did you hear that number 20? I said, yes, sir. He said, I promise you 2 things. And I'm saying to myself, okay, wonder what. He said, first of all, I'm going to make sure you graduate, you get your degree. Thank you, Coach, which I did. Coach, wake up. See, where's the sleep over there?
See where you get this so much right or not.
But anyway, besides that, and 2, you're going to win the Heisman Trophy. True story. My mind wasn't even on a Heisman Trophy. I was still thinking I'm going to Baylor. But anyway, changed my mind, and the rest was history. We can go on and on about it, but for the great fans of the state of Oklahoma, I'll be a Sooner to the rest of my life.
Sooner!
All right, I think that was...
Let me add one thing to Billy's story that people don't know about. I'm going to add this to it. When I had all of them in for the national, I always bring the Texas players in the last week before National Signing Day, the last week of the season. We set that visit up early, and I had all those guys in. Bud, I think all of them are here. I had Kenny King, I had Billy, I had all the top players in the state of Texas, what I was worried about, Kenny King, the 2 guys on the blue chip list that had most votes were Billy Sims from Hooks, Texas, and Kenny King from Clarendon, Texas. And I want both of them. I want them all. And so I was worried about all of a sudden, I'm pretty good at recruiting, but I don't think I can be in Clarendon and Hooks at the same time. So she's going to ask me to sign their ass at 8 o'clock in the morning on National Signing Day. So I was worried about that. So Kenny King tells me, Coach, I'm coming. I want to be a Sooner. I want to play for you, da-da-da. He said, will you sign me at 8 o'clock? And I didn't even talk to Billy yet. So I'm not going to say no to Kenny. You always take that one. And he said, yeah, Kenny, I'll be there at 8 o'clock in the morning signing you in Clarendon, Texas. And when Billy comes in, and Billy told me he wants to come, and I said, Billy, I'm going to tell you something. I got a great idea. I said, we're going to recruit a great class. You're the number 1 guy in the class we want. And I said, you want to come? Let me tell you something. Let's let all the other guys sign on National Signing Day. And when the smoke clears and everything clears, everybody's going to say, well, where did Billy go? Who did he sign with? Everyone will know, where did Billy Sims sign with? And you know what? And you'll be heading out down in Texas with your daddy in Houston, right? And said, I'm the only one who's going to have your phone number. And I'm going to call, and when the smoke clears, I'm going to call you and I'm going to tell you, come on back. Then we're going to, and all of a sudden we're going to have a national signing date in the stadium. We're going to fill it up and all the press, the media will be there to cover your ass. You get all the press, the media, and the TV. Billy looked at me and said, boy, that sounds good, Coach. I got Kenny King and the Sims.
You know, Mark, we were really blessed in the decade of the 70s to be running back you. And can you imagine having Billy Sims and Joe Washington and Greg Pruitt all in the same backfield? That would have been a sight. And then Kenny King, Kenny at fullback, and Billy and Joe at halfback. That was pretty special to see those guys. I just kind of hand the ball to Billy and then take out the popcorn and Coke and watch him do his thing. But Joe was the same way. Greg Pruitt was the same way. It was pretty special in the 70s with our running back regime.
I want to introduce, I got a couple guys here coached and played for me. Mike Jones here played at Oklahoma and coached for me. Mike Jones here. Mike, who else? I know John's sitting here, but who else? Well, where's Charlie? Big Charlie. Charlie's lost about 80 pounds. Charlie North is here. Charlie North was a great recruiter. He coached for me for years and years. Great recruiter. Mamas loved him. He was a hell of a recruiter. And, of course, the guy that looks out after all us Sooners and played for me, the 74-75 national championship team tight end, John Randolph, is a thoracic surgeon. Started the Heart Hospital in Oklahoma City, and I tell you what, we're so glad he's a Sooner, and he looks after all of us, boy. Our hearts feel good because we got John. Oh, where's Scotty Hill? The guy will knock your ass off. I look at film and him. Scotty Hill, back here. I went, Scotty, I told him tonight, and I said, I've been looking at some old film in the 70s, and I saw the Selman brothers. It's called Beyond the Fury, the Selman brothers, and it's all three of the brothers. And it was a film done in 1975, 76, and I wanted to make it for all the brothers. And Zach Selman's an AD at Mississippi State, and I called Zach when I was looking at this film. I had it on my computer, my TV, my computer, and on big screen, and I called Zach the other night and said, Zach, I want to show you something. I'm going to show you. You ever hear your grandmother and granddaddy talk? He said, Daddy, he's a coach. He said, I wasn't but 2 or 3 years old and when they passed. And I said, no, turned it, and there they were. And he said, I got to have that. I said, I've already made copies for all of you, for Dewey and Lucius and y'all to give to your family and all. So I've already given it to them. So they already got copies of this tape. And when I was looking through them all, I'm looking at every damn play of the highlights. A woman showed defense. Number 7 was knocking someone's ass off. I mean, drilling them. This Scotty Hill is an old quarterback, played quarterback on offense. He was a quarterback in high school, but he drilled their ass. Boy, I'm telling you, he was a hitter. And I was telling them for the deal tonight, but we may be accustomed. We sound like we're on the damn football field, don't we? Up here. Yeah, where's Rusty Griffiths? Where? I'm at Richard. Oh, yeah. I got Rusty Griffiths. You follow a guy. You follow a guy. Where's Rusty? Hey, Rusty, stand up where I see you. Tall guy. You follow Rusty Griffiths. He's got a tree business here in Norman, Oklahoma. And I tell you what, as old boy, we fight about where he's from. But I want to tell you, he's a hell of a player. Played for Green Bay for about 6-7 years. He was, I think, a number 2 draft. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was a second round draft choice. Played for them, and he was a hell of a player for us. And he's from Soper, Oklahoma. You ever heard of Soper, Oklahoma? Soper. It's down the damn Red River. It's a damn crossroad. No, he's from Soper because I've been down there. Me and Lucy Selman went down there just from Gravel Road, driving down that gravel road looking for where the Turner family lived because we wanted to meet the mama and the daddy, and we didn't meet him at Edmond. He was playing ball up at Edmond, Oklahoma. You know, the Edmond people saw him too. They knew what he was. So they recruited his ass to come play at Edmond High School. and Richard Turner back there, but he's from Soper. Okay, but anyway, so we're driving down the road, me and Lucius Selman, looking for the home in Soper. Soper, it's down at Crossroads Community. I mean, hell, there ain't but 4 houses down there. And we see a little old kid coming down the middle of the road dragging a tow sack. And we pulled over to him. Could you tell us where the Turner family lives? He said, no, sir, we can't. I said, would y'all like to buy a coon? He had a coon, a live coon, that tow sack. And he says, I'll sell it to you for $2. Swear it's the truth. Lucius Selman here today. Hey, Jamel Holloway out here? Jamel's a pretty good quarterback, little kid over there. Yes. Great kid from Oklahoma, pretty good player. But Richard Turner from Soper, but he played at Edmond High School. But we got any other students. Stick up your hands, because I can't. Who? Yeah, Tim Lasher. Yeah, our field goal kicker. Another field goal kicker. Got it? Hey, we don't need you till we need you, Timmy. That's the way it always is. And we needed you one day. We needed you one day when we come back against OSU up there in Stillwater. Whole fourth quarter, we're down nothing. We ain't scored. We fumbled the whole game away. Finally, we get an onside kick. I don't know how in the hell we got that, but we get that, and Timmy hits the field goal, wins the ball game. But and Jim Johnson didn't like it. I loved it. But I coached. Jimmy was on my staff 4 years. He'd never admit it, but he was on Oklahoma and coached for Oklahoma for 4 years. But anyway, it's great to be here this evening with you all. You've been patient. I know that. Hope you all have enjoyed it as much as we have. And I think these guys up here. I know Eddie's kicked off, and I know he's wanting to go to the bathroom, because I can always tell when he wants to go to the bathroom.
Thanks, Coach.